life sciences lab next door, that is all the GCCs, the new growth hormone. And I think this will be really interesting to hear from all of our leaders who are joining us on stage in a short while from now. So with that, I think what we move forward to is to understand that with the rise of data-driven medicine, real-world evidence and AI-powered drug discovery, GCCs are fast emerging as vital growth engines for global pharma and medtech enterprises. Now, this session will be uncovering how these centers are actually reshaping the industry from within. Let's move forward and invite all the speakers onto the stage for this panel discussion, ladies and gentlemen. Could we have a huge round of applause as I invite on stage the Managing Director for Hyderabad from Bristol-Myers Squibb, Mr. Mohit Dhingra, who's joining us right away. Next up, we have the Managing Director of Amgen India, Naveen Gullapalli. We have Mohit Sood, the Regional Managing Principal for ZS. We have Manish, Arora, Managing Director for Eli Lilly. As I always say, let the applause continue, ladies and gentlemen. Let them join us on stage with that round of applause. We also have the GCC head for J&J, Mr. Manish Kumar. And to moderate the session, we have partner Deloitte India, Ms. Priti. All right, Ms. Priti, over to you.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Yeah. So I would like to welcome all the GCC leaders, our industry experts, and our guests in Hyderabad. Undeniably, the future GCC capital of India. And for decades, what we have seen that GCCs have been seen as back office support hubs and efficiency, showing efficiency in IT, HR, procurement, but over the years, and finance, of course, but over the years, what we've seen, there's a profound transformation. And now GCCs are going to become indispensable growth engines. In fact, the topic today is purpose, performance, and we are seeing it's almost an innovation center. So our topic for today is the life sciences lab next door. And what we are seeing that the groundbreaking work, which is on the real world evidence, the AI-powered drug discovery, as well as data-driven medicine, is not confined only to the labs in Basel or Boston, but it's happening right next door in our labs here in Hyderabad, Pune, and Bengaluru. With this, I would like to welcome our stellar panelists. And without further ado, we can set the stage, or the stage is set, so we can start off. So let's start with the strategic imperative and the shift in mindset. So can I start with you, Naveen? So because you already have the experience of setting Novartis, which started from 1.0, now it's moved to 4.0. So what has been the strategic, the conversation with your global headquarters when you were setting Amgen from a cost saving to the innovation ownership? So any thoughts on that?
Yeah, thank you, Priti. Good afternoon, everybody. And a warm welcome to the fellow panelists as well. As a Pakka Hyderabadi, I must say that it's a real proud moment to see the innovative biopharma companies that are operating in Hyderabad. So it's a phenomenal coming of age of the capability in India, for sure. So Amgen is one of the leading biotechs in the world. This is the first time we are operating in India. And Amgen has come with the mindset of putting technology and innovation in India, fundamentally. So, of course, I've been in this GCC journey for over 20 years. I've seen the linear progression from cost arbitrage to centralization to standardization, optimization, automation, robotics, etc. But I think this period is very special because a lot of these capabilities have already landed, including disruptive technologies and the possibilities of what we can do with data, with our talent, etc. So it's a fantastic time to really harness India to drive the company forward in a very different fashion. So Amgen's goal in India is actually centered around three words. Our motto is brave new thinking. So we set up India operations, and I'm repeatedly saying India and not GCC because this is core of the company. We are not a service entity or a centralized organization that serves rest of the enterprise, which there is room for. But our vision is really to drive transformation for the enterprise from India. And so it's Amgen India, not a GCC. I know GCC is often used, and my prediction is it's going to die as a terminology because we become more and more core part of our enterprises. So brave new thinking is really driving through courage, through innovation, and through leadership, great outcomes for the enterprise. That is for me a construct of today.
That's great to know, actually. Now we're talking about this as one of the centers, not really a capability center only. Correct. So, what is your take on this, Manish Kumar? Because, yeah, I'm sorry, there are two Manishes and two Mohits. So, yeah. So,
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. We are also progressively moving away from GCC, calling ourselves as a GCC rather than a site or a center. And also, cost arbitrage probably has taken a back seat. So it's not only because of cost that we are here. It is because of the knowledge and talent by which we are here. So definitely, I agree with you. That's a general feeling in our headquarters as well as our site, that we are not here only because we are cost effective. We are definitely cost effective, but we are also looking forward because of the talent ecosystem. So one thing which I want to call about, in one of the first presentation which was there was a talk about why manufacturing has not taken off in India and why service has taken off in India. It is because you have to think 30 years is a service. We are good in service because the work had started 30 years ago. Okay, so we have been able to build a pipeline of people and talent available. That is why we are good in service. So that we have to keep in mind. It is because of that talent pipeline and availability of knowledge that we are good. The second thing which we are also trying to leverage is also excellent talent ecosystem, by which I mean academic ecosystem, which is present in and around Hyderabad. Okay, and even I am fan of Hyderabad. So though I'm not from Hyderabad, but I am fan of the city. So we are also trying to take advantage of. I think that is something which we need to make use of. We also see a lot of proactiveness from those institutes to collaborate. So that is also another good thing for this place.
great insights. So, Manish, NASSCOM report mentions that 60% of the GCCs are built on developing capabilities and not on cost. So, what is that one capability which has been the tipping point for your global headquarters to set up this tech and innovation center here?
Yeah, so welcome everyone as well, and thanks for having me as well. So Eli Lilly's been a company that's been around for 150 years, and if you're around for 150 years, you don't survive without continuously reinventing and innovating. So we've done that through a variety of technology, whether it's science-based technology, research-based technology, manufacturing technology, and now we're fully on board with digital technology, specifically around artificial intelligence. Now, if you go back like 20 years, you had IBM with some technology that was more reactive AI. Then we moved to generative AI, and then now we're moving more and more towards agentic AI. But technology for the sake of technology really doesn't help. You have to tie it to a purpose. And so what we're doing is we're bringing human intelligence and artificial intelligence together to really differentiate ourselves and meet those unmet needs of the Indian community as well as globally. And we're doing that right here from Hyderabad.
Wonderful. No, reinventing technology, that's the future, absolutely. So, Mohit, I wanted to also ask you, what does your leadership do for the measure of success of a GCC beyond cost? I mean, cost.
Sure. So firstly, thank you for having me. Just a quick intro from a BMS perspective. We're delivering, innovative medicines to transform patients' life. The reason I say that is there are 4 keywords over there. There's deliver, innovation, transform, and patient, right? And if you look at any enterprise today, the DNA of every enterprise is different. And if you look at the capability centers that have been set up today are very different than what was set up, 2 decades back. It was very transactional in nature. Everybody wanted, cost per transaction because technology wasn't there. We didn't have the Zooms and the Teams and so on and so forth. And it was very back office. Today, the capability centers are just leapfrogging and directly coming to 3.0 or 4.0, right? So we're moving away from this transaction to transformation is what I call it. The reason I'm giving you that backdrop is that we should not measure GCC differently than the rest of the company. If you're not, if you're not having a Boudry site or a UK site or a US site for a KPI, GCC should not have a KPI. And that's the objective that we have taken. So we said, guys, we're not going to deliver a separate KPI just for BMS Hyderabad, because the moment you do that, you're thinking that I'm a provider for you, which we are not. So we set up the capability center in such a way that it is at par from a capability perspective to what you deliver across any location in the world. And we measure to whatever is the company's KPI, right? Because there is no 2 different companies within a company. So I know to answer your question, I would love to give you, I'm a very metrics guy, I can give you 15 KPIs, but the idea is not to, and this is literally a leadership mindset change that we all have to start thinking about is, why do I need to have a KPI for a GCC, right? If I'm not having the same KPI for any other location, we should deliver to the important KPI for the company. So to answer it, besides the business case, we don't have anything else which we've delivered on, and then the rest of the KPIs are at par with what the companies do.
No, that's a great evolution, actually, if you say that. I mean, your KPI is equivalent to the headquartered KPI. Wonderful. So, coming from your vantage point at ZS, Mohit, I wanted to also ask you, like, when you have these conversations with the global CEOs while setting up a GCC, so now, because it's not any longer cost arbitrage, so what is this conversation you have, or what do you direct them as the strategic input they should be having to set up the GCC?
Yeah, no, thank you, Priti, and thank you for having me here. And it was it was music to my ears to what I was hearing from the fellow panelists. So in the last 20 years that we have had the opportunity to serve the pharma organizations and also support many GCCs here, I think as we discuss with these leaders to how to think about a strategic center, I think the very first thing is, as many of you also said, that it is not a pilot or an experiment. It's a long-term commitment. And that's something that we make sure that they realize, and not just they realize, meaning the C-suite, but the business leads, the functional leads, and also the consumers who are going to work with the capability center, that they're all on the same page with respect to it's a long-term commitment and it's a strategic center that is part of the one firm. So that, I think, is one of the things that we always discuss and find resonance with. Second really is about the adequate investment in the capabilities. It's called a capability center for a reason, because it's about capabilities. And when you think about capabilities, people, process, tools. And where I think we sometimes make a mistake in terms of running too fast, and something that I make sure that we are highlighting is that from a process perspective, if you're going to do a lift and shift of the broken processes to just to a new location and expect magic to happen, that magic is not going to happen. And so that's something that that's the second idea, is to make sure that the processes are transformed and harmonized as you look for the capability to get set up. And third, I think, which again, very glad to hear commonly, is that having a very strong and empowered local decision makers. The leaders like the ones that I'm sharing the stage with, I think the ones who have the empowerment to make decision and break the silos. See, that's something I think, again, we have the word capability. I talked about that. The other word is center. The only way we can centralize this thing is having the empowerment to break the silos. So those are some things. And last but not the least, I think somebody also shared that in the previous panel, I think Pawan, he said, the other thing that we also share is we don't have to sort of reinvent the wheel. Okay, so learning from the peers, working along with some expert partners like ZS is probably the way to then go and set themselves for future.
No, these are actually great, very great. Want to add something, Manish?
Yeah. Another thing which I want to add is don't get too much hung on the technology. Like we are today we are talking about AI. The same set of people who are talking about AI were talking 5 years ago about data, and same set of people 10 years ago were talking about ERP. Okay, so the good thing is that humans have got unlimited capacity and capability to learn, unlearn, and quick learn. Okay, so don't get too much hung on the one tech, and don't see any center or any site from the lens or prism of a tech. So that is something which we have to keep in mind. We keep unlearning and relearning, and we expect all our colleagues to do the same.
No, so great. In fact, I really resonate with all the points you said, long-term commitment, empowerment at the local level. And that's what we are seeing. I mean, we're seeing some great leaders and all empowered here. And I agree. I mean, learning, unlearning, and relearning is the way to go. So with this, what we can do is we can move to the second thread. And since we've set the context, I thought we can just delve into little deeper themes on this is about the growth engine and AI powered. So I'll just move to, again, coming to you, Naveen. I wanted to check is basically, so before that, what we have seen, the goal of research phase is to basically find the right drug candidates quickly and move it to clinical development. And what has happened is historically this process has been quite inefficient. But with the technology advancement and also regulatory openness, it's now become a practical proposition. So I would like to understand how you are using AI and ML in your innovation center.
Definitely. So I think, as I said, AI has really landed. And today we're talking about AI. You heard some of the earlier presentations as well, similar to the same talk about digital and data, right? So Amgen has very strong investments in AI. We have access to, all our associates have access to the latest models like GPT-5 with a partnership with OpenAI. And several of our processes are being overhauled with the latest technologies. Amgen India has been built as a center that is AI native, which is quite simply redoing all our processes with AI in mind. So we have the opportunity of being new, we can build it to target state, right? So, and I'm surprised at how scaled this has become. It's moving quite fast. Even 6 months previously, I wouldn't have been able to say that we are deploying this at scale. Today, a lot of our employees and associates are creating agents on the fly. They have access to reasoning models, and you've seen some examples of processes where AI can independently run and AI can also run along with assistants. Those are deployed already today. Every meeting, every week or month town hall, there's tons of examples of new agents coming into play. This is really scaling quite significantly. So for me, it is about AI native as a mindset with our people and delivering results using all of this transformation.
So how are the people adopting this?
So I was recently at heard a speech by Salim Ismail. I don't know if you know him. He's a progressive thinker, futurist, author of a book called Exponential Organizations. And he showed a slide that said anybody over 35 has a high degree of resistance to change or how things are evolving. Guess our average age in Amgen India, it's 29. So we in India have this population talent, which is they're extremely pro change. Digital native soon becoming AI native. So it's the best place to drive transformation and change, according to me.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I move to you, Manish. The term growth engine is very powerful, right? So could you share a specific example where you are driving, your company is driving innovation? So how are you doing it? It's contributing to innovation. And we also heard about the Telangana government grid strategy. So they have the pharma cluster, which has got the genome valley, the medical devices park, and the biopharma, right? So are you also integrating some of these to drive innovation?
Frankly, not. I can give you an example. Blanking out some specific details. So we are working with an academic institution very closely, and it is a very critical project. But we are working with an academic institution, and we are collaborating with them to solve a problem which has been there for all innovative pharma companies. We struggle with that kind of problem. Can't give more specifics than that, but as far as any support from any entity is concerned, at least I am not aware of.
Okay. Now, so Manish, I wanted to also check, is that how does it, what does it take to successfully implement AI in biopharma? So how are you doing it in research, in biopharma research? So if you could also, are you also partnering with the AI, drug discovery companies, or are you building these capabilities in-house?
Our approach is to build the capabilities in-house. We know our business quite well across the entire value chain. It's our ability to connect those dots and accelerate time to value. That's what we're going after. But we're also transforming, as many of you probably alluded to as well, we're fundamentally transforming our operations. It's about taking an eliminate, simplify, automate mentality, mindset, and approach. So we're really looking at eliminating all the things that don't create value, then simplifying all the things that do create value, and then using obviously digital technology, AI, automation, cloud to drive the automation of all of that. So we're pretty bullish on that. And what you'll see us do here is we'll have a nerve center. So I think many of you saw the inauguration. We inaugurated our site on August 4th. And you probably heard in the news as well, we have a nerve center that we've built. That nerve center is really our end-to-end operations, visible into a single dashboard. The vision of that is first observe, then it's react and take action on. But then the ultimate goal is to drive self-healing. So it's human touch less, it's more shift left. So that's what we're going after.
Oh, great. So that's really an agile way of working. So moving to you, Mohit. Integrating AI processes, I just heard also, and assembling cross-functional teams, which is all your clinical, biopharma, epidemiology. So all this, are you using this in your GCC here? So, and how is it driving the business value?
Sure. So firstly, I know there's a lot of talk about AI, which is the right talk. In my view, AI is not a tech transformation. Actually, it's a culture transformation. And I think we've got this wrong, where most of the people think it's 90% tech transformation. I feel it's 90% people and culture transformation. And I know Naveen was saying, how multiple companies are doing this. We have all the models available across any company, or LLMs available to all our associates. And even the latest LLMs that come out, we have them available in less than a month, which is very unique. If you think of for a pharma industry, when compared to other industries, people feel pharma is a bit slower, but which I don't think so. So everybody's got an innovative. Now, I just want to give a prelude to that. Everybody here may not know about pharma, but if you really think of, an R&D pipeline to commercializing a particular product takes anywhere between 9 to 12 years. 9 to 12 years, which means you're discovering a drug that can be 2 to 4 years. You're developing it, which can be anywhere between 7 to 9 years, and then you're trying to manufacture and commercialize it, which is 2 years. And your clock is already starting the moment you file the patent, which means you only have 7 to 8 years to commercialize the product in 20-year patent journey. Now, if you take this long gestation period, the opportunity from discovering the drug, which is, the scientist figuring out in silico. All small molecules we are now making through AI-assisted models only, 100%, which is good. 50% of big molecules is AI-assisted, which is good, right? Now, when you get into development comes with a lot of writing, and that's where the LLMs become a big differentiator, and that's where on the development side, on the drug discovery development side, we're putting a lot of the AI that is helping us accelerate. Then you start applying the supply chain, which is your manufacturing. We all know, AI works very well. Literally now you can feed your invoices, your models, and it'll tell you which is the best, way for you to, get that particular product and which vendor you can get it from and the fastest you can get it from. And then you have to commercialize it, which is where you have to reach out to the, the practitioners, the HCPs, and you have to give them the digital tools because these are the difficult people to get and they are very short on time. So you have to give them information at the right time, and they are all designed knowing their personas. We might have a particular doctor who's very interested in writing prescriptions the old-fashioned way, and somebody is very interested to give very, cutting-edge, innovative, and you have to cater the information to that. So if you take this whole life cycle across the 4 to 5 areas that I talked about, everywhere we are applying it, and it's technology at the end of the day, right? AI is a new word. Every 10 years, we are all technologists. We are very smart. As they said, we keep changing words. So we've now come up with AI. At the core of it, you have to have a great process and you have to have the best technology. And that's where you get the outcome. So.
No, agree. So, I mean, you have to have data. Again, without data, you can't do it. So automation, AI, whatever you call it. But so it has impacted in speeding the process.
It's impacting all lines of, or all functional areas that we are in, and that's where the acceleration is coming.
Right. So, Mohit, again, coming to you. So, see, from a consulting point of view, again, I'll ask you. So we often hear about this POC to production paradox, right? So, and in AI also, where models, they do work well when you test them, but when you bring to scale, there is they do fail. So can you also tell us, how, what are the technical barriers? What are the non-technical barriers? Could be change management, could be alignment of KPIs. So what are some of these barriers which has happened with your clients, or you don't have to name them, but and how do you overcome them?
Oh, absolutely. First of all, I love the way you said it, Mohit. It's not a technical transformation, but a cultural transformation. I love that. I think that summarizes really where sometimes the scaling actually fails. Because when we think about an interesting idea, we are thinking of it as a technical change, but not necessarily seeing it as how end-to-end process needs to be transformed for it to be able to scale and then make the impact happen. So that's one of the places. But I think more importantly, if I were to just take maybe a little bit of a step back, if you see where AI and tech, the way many organizations are approaching, are in 3 broad categories, right? The one category is a lot more about task automation, right? You pick a particular thing and you automate everything out of it, right? And those are your agents and so on. The second is where you are able to then transform a process itself, an existing process. And that's where we are talking about agentic workflows now. The third really is where you start to solve a problem that we never solved before. So the process itself never existed, right? So the tasks to processes, existing processes to now the new processes. And if you look at the investment, 50% of the investment is still on the first, right? And about 25 to 30% is on the middle, and then the rest 10, 15% is on the third. I think the POC to scaling is the challenge is hitting is actually right in the middle, because that's where the change management becomes hard, right? On the left, it's easy to get adopted because it is automating a task. That's great. It's on the right, nobody owned this process before. It's a new process. So again, less of a change management issue. But right in the middle is when it becomes a change management of a big issue. So I love what I think the colleague from Fractal was sharing, which is that design from outcome backwards. And also the other idea that I think he also shared was keeping the user in mind. I think those two are extremely critical. Last but not the least, I have, at least in my own experience of serving many clients in this area, is that your AI is only as good as the unification of the data behind. And so at least one of the things that we try and do is to make sure that whenever we are creating a blueprint for a scalable AI solution, 50 to 60% of the focus and effort is on unification of the data and harmonization of the data to be able to then deliver the impact.
Yeah, thank you. So I actually agree. Data is the backbone. And if you don't have the data right,